Welcome back. Time now for Leo Unleashed, where I drag my backside out of this studio and travel around the UK to see what life is like in your communities. What's great about where you live, what can be improved, and how is government policy affecting you? And I'll be having plenty of fun along the way too, just like I did when I visited Runcorn, home of disgraced MP Mike Amesbury, who this week had his prison sentence for battering a man in the street suspended. How are his constituents feeling, and who would they vote for if there was a by-election? Let's find out. This week I'm unleashed in the very pretty town of Runcorn in Cheshire, just by the River Mersey, and infamous in recent weeks because it was home to Mike Amesbury, the Labour MP who's just been banged up in prison for 10 weeks for punching a constituent in the face. Who would you vote for in a by-election here, if there was one?
A by-election?
Yeah.
I'd vote for Reform. It's the way he speaks, it's the way he puts it over.
Nigel Farage?
Yeah.
Labour, Reform?
Not Labour after what that Mike's done.
Not Labour?
No.
Were you not impressed with Mike Amesbury?
Not at all.
So who would you vote for if there was another by-election?
The Farage people.
For Reform UK?
Of course.
What do you like about them?
Different from Labour and Conservative.
I only ever have and never will vote for Labour.
Yeah.
No matter who they are, whether they go to bad indifference, Labour.
You always vote for Labour?
Always.
Who are you voting for if there's a by-election here in a few weeks?
Reform it'll be, yeah.
Reform?
100%, yeah.
How come? Aren't they?
I think they're quite lukewarm, though, to be honest with you. I want something that...
Oh, you want stronger?
Stronger, slightly, not too much, you know what I mean?
Would you vote in a by-election if there was one in a few weeks?
Yeah.
Who for?
Mike.
Mike?
Yeah.
What if he's not standing? Labour again?
Well, yeah.
Even though he smacked someone?
He was defending his family.
OK.
Reform.
You'd vote Reform? How come?
I'd vote Reform because fed up with all the others.
The sun is shining on us.
Good today good, yeah.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Who would you vote for in an election here?
How far here?
Yes.
4 years.
Yes. So you lived here 4 years?
Yeah.
And who would you vote for here? Labour? Conservative?
Labour, yeah.
You'd vote Labour?
Yeah.
When we had a choice, I wouldn't vote for anyone.
How come?
They all aren't they?
Oh. Would you vote for Labour again here?
I don't vote for Labour.
No? Who did you vote for last time? Do you mind me asking?
I haven't voted for years.
There's only one party.
Yes.
Nigel Farage.
Ooh, Reform UK.
Yeah.
Some people down this high street have said Reform are a bit bigoted or racist.
No.
What do you say to those people?
He's the only one who wants to do anything for British people in their own country.
Why the Lib Dems? What is it about the Lib Dems that you like?
Well, I just feel that I particularly like the leader of the Lib Dems.
Sir Ed Davey?
Yes, I do. I think what he says is very interesting and very honest.
Can I be a bit cheeky? Mm-hmm. Ed Davey thinks women can have, you know what? What do you think about that?
You know what?
Penises. Ed
Well,
Davey thinks women can have penises.
That's entirely up to him, isn't it?
Doesn't put you off him?
No, not at all.
Nobody at the moment.
Don't like any of them?
No.
Oh, no. Why don't you like them?
You can get in if you want to.
Me?
Yeah.
I live very far away. I'd like to live up here, though.
Would you?
Would you look after me?
Yes, so definitely.
Where would you recommend for lunch? Where would you take me for lunch?
There, the Devonshire.
Come on then, should we go?
No, we've just been.
No. You said you look after me. All right, let's get the reaction now from Peter Blexley, Linda Jubilee and Paul Richards. Very scientific and accurate polling going on there. YouGov, eat your heart out. Interestingly, none for Conservatives, despite getting a hefty haul, Linda, at the last election.
But Reform were second in that constituency, I think.
They were. So, yeah, Reform was second. What did you make of that? I mean,
well,
Labour, anything to worry about?
I think that Reform stand a pretty good chance of getting in that constituency. In fact, Paul and I were on the night that the video came out with Mike Amesbury when he was... do you remember when he lamped the person?
Yeah.
It was just so incredible. But I do think, you know, there is a big... What Reform has to do is actually really ramp up on its vetting for its recruits.
Yeah.
If it does that, because it needs to do it before the May elections anyway, if it's going to get any significant movement forward. But I think in this particular constituency, provided there's a by-election, I think Reform could do very well.
Yeah, Peter, they need to make sure there's no repeat of UKIP, the swivel-eyed loons, as David Cameron used to call them.
And that requires a lot of vetting, which requires a lot of open source intelligence work being done on people. In other words, checking their background online.
PIs?
You'd be astonished what's out there. People that have got open source intelligence skills, people sit at their laptops, it's frightening what they can find out about if they've got the right tools and they know where to look. So all of those kind of background searches need to be very, very thorough, because they don't want to get saddled with people that turn out to be a chronic embarrassment.
Paul, as the Labour contingent on the panel, are you concerned about Runcorn?
Well, it's a by-election we didn't want, obviously. I think it is there for Farage to lose. I think it's one of those sort of potential big, explosive by-election excitements that you get in mid-term with an unpopular government. I would have said definitely a slam dunk for reform up until this week, actually, but a lot of the defence stuff this week and the sort of patriotic stuff coming out of Starmer might help some of those voters stay in the Labour column. But I think right now, I reckon I'm going to call it for Farage.
But, Paul, it's not mid-term, is it? We're only about 8 months in.
Well, good point, yeah. Good point.
You, just to clarify, you think Reform will win Runcorn if there's a by-election?
I think that's a very strong likelihood that they will pull off one of those amazing by-elections, because they won't keep it in the general election, but I think it's a possible, mid-term sort of phenomenon where the government gets a kicking.
As I understand it, the Reform were campaigning, I think the day after Mike Amesbury was arrested for battering a constituent. They were knocking doors.
Absolutely. Because it's wide open for them.
Yeah.
Of course.
Where would that leave Keir Starmer then and the government? How would they react? How would they be feeling, do you think, if they lost that?
You tell us, Paul, because I think it would be a disastrous sign for Labour.
Well, I mean, the events have moved on since the general election in terms of why there's a by-election. Yeah, but I mean, it's also the first time where the MP has battered somebody in the street, isn't it? So, it is an unusual set of circumstances.
And on that note, his sentence shouldn't have been suspended and he should have got longer. What kind of deterrent does that pose?
Whilst I've got you, our very loyal member, Lady of the House, very loyal viewer, thank you, Lady of the House, says, hi Ben, ask Peter if he borrowed his jacket off Brian Ferry.
That's a compliment.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a compliment.
That is a compliment.
Love is the drug.
That is one of the smartest and most elegant men I've ever encountered.
And so's Brian Ferry.
Yeah, and so are you.
Somebody else on the emails, Peter, said they want you for London Mayor for Reform. What do you make of that?
London Mayor, goodness me. I would have run for Police and Crime Commissioner in London if it weren't coupled with the job of London Mayor. Yeah. Because I couldn't. I would very much like to have played a part in knocking the Metropolitan Police back.
Interesting. All right. Thank you to the people of Runcorn for welcoming me. You were very hospitable and lovely, and those old ladies at the end were very gracious and, good fun. So thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
At GB News, we believe in the power of free speech. We're not afraid to ask the tough questions, challenge the status quo, and give you a voice. While others silence dissent, we champion the truth. By becoming a GB News member, you're not just supporting free speech, you're defending it. Please consider supporting us today. Together, we'll hold the powerful to account and make sure that your voice is always heard. Simply go to gbnews.com/support and stand with us for what matters most.